You are watching the alignment ordeal for the Scion FRS. What's an alignment? Well, it's as complicated or easy as you make it. There's hundreds of thousands of alignments done in America each week, but basically, you drive your car up onto an alignment machine. They're very expensive, but very precise usually if calibrated. You attach wheel targets and sensors onto each wheel. From there, the machine's lasers and cameras detect each wheel's angle. From there, it will send data to the machine's system and computer to give the tech the readout of each individual's wheel angle: camber, caster, and toe. For the Scion FRS, toe is the only adjustable element. You cannot adjust camber on the FRS or BRZ. From the factory, this is locked down. Now, in some cases, even from the factory, camber is off from wheel to wheel. The only way to fix this is to install a camber kit. Camber kits can be bolts, bushings, or plates. In this case, I installed camber bolts in the front and camber bushings in the rear upper control arms. Now, to do an alignment takes 1 to 2 hours. And to do a performance alignment generally takes a lot more precision. In my case, I chose to do my driver weight or myself in the seating position while the toe and the camber was adjusted front and rear. The first alignment I had done was by a body shop. I had no camber kits installed, and it revealed that one side was actually a degree off from the other. This is where I raise the point that alignments can be very easy for technicians, because a lot of the specs allow for this huge variance from side to side. Now, if you're doing a performance alignment, clearly you don't one side to want to have 2 degrees of negative camber and the other side to have half a degree of negative camber or positive, even if it's within the specs. So with this alignment, I did this one myself. And I installed the white line front camber eccentric bolts, which basically, as in this video, you loosen them up and you turn them on the alignment rack and it moves the wheel in and out. Since the bolt is eccentric, that means there's a little lobe and it just gives you that ability to push the wheel in or out. And this brings me to my point of this video. Changing or adjusting this camber bolt has a great effect on how much camber really is there. Just a small turn can give you almost a half a degree of negative camber or positive camber. Now, most alignments go by factory specifications, which are very broad. You could actually have -1 degree of camber on one wheel and none on the other, and that still would be within factory specs. Now, is that a good alignment? Well, it depends on where you go and who you are. But for a performance-oriented alignment, you want it very specific. And as you can see here, on the front right wheel, we have -1.4 degrees of camber, and on the left, you have 1.3 negative degrees. And that's very little variance from wheel to wheel. And most shops are not going to spend that kind of time to do this. Also, when you adjust the camber, it affects the toe. So, getting all these things dialed in takes a lot of time, and this is not something that most shops are going to do for you. So, a good performance alignment and a good alignment in general is one that has very little variance from wheel to wheel. And in this picture, you can see the front left and front right have nearly identical camber and toe. Same with the rear. That is a good alignment. A poor alignment is one that is lazily done, or it's just lazy. Large variances. It's still within spec, but you have one wheel way off from the other. So what you want from your custom alignment is there's a few things you want to do. One of the most important things is to do your homework before you go in. You want to make sure that you know exactly what you want from your alignment. Know what camber, caster, toe is. If you're not driving a race car, you don't need 3 degrees of negative camber. So know what you want before you go in. One of the second things to do is talk to the manager or tech of the shop you choose and make sure you have a clear understanding of what you want before that appointment. If they don't feel comfortable with it, go somewhere else. But agree on it before you go in, or you're going to have a problem. Third is know your mechanical limitations of your vehicle. If you want a bunch of negative camber and you don't have a camber kit on your FRS or BRZ, you're not going to get it within the specs you want. Have the parts installed before you go in. Fourth, before that car comes off the alignment rack when they're doing the adjustments, go in and look at the computer before they pull it off. That way you fix any problems before it's off the rack. Saves you time. Lastly, test drive that car and look at that alignment sheet for any errors before you drive. Make sure that steering wheel is perfectly centered, there's no pulling or drifting, or any other issues with the drivability, and you'll be A-OK.